You're watching TS Madison TV.
My God, today. I probably fuck him in the living room. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I probably fuck him in the living room. I know y'all can hear me. I probably fuck him in the living room. Good morning. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Because back to work we go. In the sun, you go bust shot, see. So, like I said, motherfucking hoes be talking. Bitch, instead of talking, you need to be reading. Instead of reading me, you need to be reading the guidelines on how to be a better you, bitch. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me add my bae on here real quick. Like, babe!
What's up, babe? It's my birthday, babe.
It's your birthday. Oh, now what's that birthday? Babe, I just listen, babe. You know, I showered you with gifts, so many gifts. I came over there, showered you with gifts.
Babe, you had rained down on me, babe.
Listen, not the way I was going to, but you was over there crying. You was doing too much crying and sobbing, honey. Another man was beating my time. Another man was loving mine. But it's okay. I want all my hoes to know that no matter how many motherfucking niggas or women's or it better not be no in-betweens. I ain't worried about no in-betweens. But any niggas and women's that the children dance around with, you can't never replace the two bays, can it, babe?
Can't never.
Ever.
Never.
Ever.
Never.
Babe, well, how does it feel to be 30 years old today?
Man, I feel fool, babe. I feel fool. I feel
that's
wiser.
That's why you been spilling over like that.
Babe, I don't know what the fuck been going on, babe.
I know. I'm gonna tell you what's going on. I don't want to say it live.
Don't you do me like that.
I'm not gonna do you like that.
And I disagree. However, I've been fooled. I've been feeling super appreciated. I've been feeling super love.
And this why I tell women out there when they mess with the bisexual man, listen, another man is beating my time, another man is loving mine all the time.
Thank you, Suki.
It's a scary thing. Hold on, babe. I just got to tell you this.
What you got to tell me? Go ahead, babe. Give it to me, babe. Come on.
To you, I want to say happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday. I love you. So happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
That's it.
Thank you, babe. I love you.
I do. I love you very much. I really want you to know that. You're probably the only man that people have ever seen me in a the people don't get the only time they done seen me with other men was when I was ooh suck it to me like you want to ooh. And they had to pay to see that, honey. They had to pay to see that, or they had motherfucking they had to get trailers. They had to watch trailers to see it. But they ain't never seen me really have no emotional attachment. Like out of all the years that I've been online, so it was kind of new. Like when we linked together, it was kind of new for the people. Like the people didn't know. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. They was like, what's going on with them two? Wait a minute, is she a bulldiver? I was like, Then you went out here and got this Grace Jones cut on your head, and goddamn it, there it is, boom.
Look, I'm over here trying to fix it up. But when I wake up in the morning, we got the work up on that thing. So we're gonna put some liquid up on there and get it together.
Man, did you enjoy all the gifts? I got you that was like all my gifts that I got you came directly from I wish you would have had the good gifts I gave you in your ear right now, huh? Because you're looking like a throwaway with that damn earring.
It's in their charging. They got me some wireless earphones too. What's that up on my channel?
I got you a whole bunch of stuff, and
a whole lot of and the thing you got me, that was so thoughtful. She got me this little thing. It's a box. It come, you open it up, a little butterfly.
Yeah, you gonna put, I want you to post it.
I got a video. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post the video. I got a video for it.
Yeah, so that people know it was real thought.
It's really, really sweet. Very, very sweet. I appreciate it. Oh, I done told you 1,000 times, and you got some messages to come back to. But I deeply appreciate what you did for my birthday this year. It made me feel very special. Very, very special. I'm turning 30 and feeling all sentimental. Niggas just getting older and shit. Niggas changing. You getting old when you start putting 30 years young on your shit. I ain't 25 years old no more. I want to be 30 years young now. So I'm feeling real sentimental, and I appreciate the fact that, you really added to the value of my 30th birthday in the way you did.
Wait a minute. Let me pause you real quick, okay?
Go ahead and pause me, baby.
I'm 43. So what is old? You talking about something? You turning 30. You old. So how you view me? That's why you out there still tricking off on me. Don't go black. Don't go black.
Getting these birthday calls back. Now let me see who I done declined, because I ain't even.
You got two phones over there. You got two phones.
One for the. And one for the. Okay, I got it. I got it, babe. I'm calling back right in 2 seconds. What I did.
Oliver, you said it was something you said you had to get off your chest real quick. Wait a minute, is that my mug? Oliver Twix, is that my mug that you done brought from my house? Is that my mug? Wait a minute.
That's why I don't let them girls come over to 227.
Wait a minute.
Oliver gold. Oh, Jackie Johnson. Oh Lord.
But you got your mug snatched?
Girl, bitch, she just come on here, get ready to read and lifted my mug on her lips.
But the thing is, he must have packed it in his overnight bag. Like, how do you smuggle a coffee mug out of the That's some thieving shit.
What? You
That's
can't walk in my mug like that.
That's why I don't let them kids come over to 227.
Craig, you do live at cause I ran up last like you better believe it. It ain't no last like better believe it. Last like there's no place like no place, child. Oliver come back. Oliver better come back with a new glass. Hold on. Oh, look, now she done can't put on here. Oh, so she comes back with a new glass. Oh, all y'all girls just come with Hey Girl Hayes and stuff like that.
Hey Girl Hey. Available at CraigTheWriterStewart.com, niece.
Available at OutSplits.com.
Oh my God. Craig.
Yes.
Craig.
Now, Craig, what was that comment you said earlier about people stealing? What was that again? What did you say out of your mouth?
Who, me?
Yes. Because I've never stole anything a day in my life.
Well, girl, why'd you switch coffee mugs?
Well, I just thought it was a perfect time for branding.
Where did other coffee mug come from?
Well, because you don't know the full story, so you shouldn't be commenting on things you don't know about.
All I know is
just be quiet.
And put it in your purse one evening.
Because I can't discuss some of the things that you've stolen.
What have I stolen? What have I stolen?
It's protesting. I dare not to talk about such things.
No. What have I stolen? Please talk me.
We can talk about the things that you've stolen. Craig the Writer Stewart.
What have I stolen?
Because you know.
Listen, Tiara, thank you very much, Tiara. Thank you, Willeen Cooper. Jason, thank you very much, Jason. Thank you very much.
Once upon a time, I did dibble and dabble in counterfeit money.
Listen, listen, every homosexual that I know living, living
and dead,
homosexual that I know living knows how to bust a check. That ain't right.
Living and dead.
And almost every Nigerian that I know. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, sorry about that, Mo.
Don't do me like that.
Check and get it right back.
Baby, baby, when I tell you your social security, your social security number is done.
Vanquished.
That social security number nowhere. Thank you,
your
Jerome.
magic trick?
Oh.
So this morning I asked Madison to retweet something that I sent out. And she retweeted it because she has this massive following over on Twitter.
Girl, please.
And somebody had sent me a conversation between Cornell West and Anderson Cooper. And he was speaking about George Floyd's funeral. And what he said, it was so profound that, I mean, literally, one of my homegirls from college, she sent it to me. And that was the first thing that I read this morning when I read her text and then I listened to what he was saying. It brought me to tears. Like I literally had not got out of the bed. And so I retweeted it. And then I text Madison, was like, hey, when you get a chance, if you could, just retweet that. Because I really think you guys need to see that. It was powerful. It really, really was powerful. It's only about 8-9 minutes, but Anderson Cooper started crying. And I mean, it was just amazing. Like what he was talking about. He was just talking about the kind of love that Black people are required to have, or we must obviously possess in order to go through the type of atrocities that we've gone through in this country and are not actively trying to get back at white people. One of the things he said because if we were, a Black KKK would have been formed and there would be a revolution.
Well, if you say that, if someone says something about the Black Panther Party? Because they were trying to say that was kind of like the KKK was the Black Panther Party. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit, Craig?
Yeah, and they used to try to liken the Black Panther Party. It's not the same because in the same way that they try to say that Black Lives Matter is this terrorist group, if you will. When they're really not. They're really about trying to bring attention, call attention, and stop police brutality in communities of color and afflicting it on Black people, Black and brown people. But it's like I posted the other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about Bayard Rustin. If you guys aren't familiar with Bayard Rustin, it is important that you go and look him up. And I think I said this to you, Madison, we were talking. Selma is one of my favorite movies. Ava DuVernay did it, with Oprah and all those people. But they only mentioned Bayard briefly, which is a disgrace because, and I'm a fan of Ava DuVernay, but I think it was a disgrace because Bayard Rustin was a Black gay man. He was out. He was out in the 60s. And here you have, Black gay people in 2020 that still aren't out. But he was out in the 60s, and he was Dr. Martin Luther King's right-hand man. Mm-hmm. He organized the Civil Rights, the March on Washington, and he organized the Freedom Riders. This was a Black gay man. The federal government knew who he was. They knew that he was the brains behind the civil rights movement. So they said that he was a communist. It's illegal to be a communist in this country. And so they said he was a communist. And so Dr. King had to sit Bayard Rustin down because they couldn't be associated with him. But they didn't believe that, but they had to put him down because it was going to jeopardize the movement. And when it started to get out that he was an out Black gay man, some of the Black community didn't like it.
Don't do some. Majority.
The Black community didn't like that he was out.
Majority.
Right. And as I said in my caption, when I posted this little piece on my Instagram yesterday, I said, Black gay people or Black LGBTQ people have been at the forefront of every movement in this country. Black LGBTQ people saved the Black community. The two founders of the Black Lives Matter movement are two Black queer women. Mm-hmm. We've been at the forefront of every major movement.
So, Craig, let me ask you this. What do you think has to happen in order for the Black community to dissolve those type of barriers?
The Black community has to separate what we've been taught and conditioned to believe about religion and sexuality. That's it. That's it. Because we were given religion. We were given. It was given to us. And when you think about it from an intellectual standpoint, as slaves, we weren't allowed any freedoms. We weren't free to live and move around at our free will. We were slaves. We weren't allowed to give. We weren't allowed education. We weren't allowed to read and all of those things. The only thing they allowed us was religion. Now, why do you think they allowed us religion, but they took every other liberty from us?
Religion, they taught us.
Because religion, in there are passages in the Bible that gives them, authority to own slaves.
Exactly.
It gives them authority, and they felt like that the book, and I'm saying that book, but that the book gave them the right, to be in control. It gave them the right to, because one thing I've seen even through this pandemic that we're bouncing through right now, I've noticed that fear has been able to control us. It's been able to keep us in the house. It's been able to keep us out of toilet paper. It's been able to keep us out of hand sanitizer. We've been scared. There's just been fear. And each week that we talk about something pertaining to the pandemic, there is a new discovery. Just like now, it's like people who are as systematic, they're not able to pass it.
Right. Yeah, they taught us their religion. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
They're not able to pass the virus. So now it's just like, it's so much stuff going on. Like everybody's scared. Like, oh my God, I don't want to go out. So everybody's in fear. Like everybody's scared. And by you being scared like that, you get in line. Like, same thing like with the police. Like you've always been taught to fear the police. Like you fear them, you scared of them. And, you don't wanna stop. Like, bitch, I know I'm a bitch. When I used to see the police on, and I still this way, I see the police car over there, bitch, I'm slowing up way back here because I don't want to pass the police. Because I'm scared that the bitch gonna get behind me, and then here it is. There it is, bitch. I'm pulled over, and everything could happen in that motherfucker. All kinds of shit, and especially like I like to drive places, Craig. I like to drive everywhere. And bitch, I'll be driving through one of those little rural towns.
Oliver, watch this. She's all woman, but she drives like a man.
And how is it? See, that's a social construct. How does a man drive? Because Miss Mary has a heavy foot. So how does a man drive?
Miss Mary has driven, and girl,
Miss Mary has a heavy foot. So how does a man drive?
Fast and hard, foot down.
Well, listen, I learned it from my mama, and she learned it.
They taught us that.
I know for me, Craig, I look at the Bible and I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus. I do believe he came down, died on the third day so that you, me, everybody can have a second chance at life. But me personally, I look at the Bible as a book of literature and take what I can from it, apply what I can from it, and leave the rest. When you like really sit down and think about the number of wars, battles, conquests, even dating back to Europe, when the Spaniards were over there wreaking havoc and doing all those things, all of that war, death, pilgrimage, all that was rooted in Christianity. Black people being uprooted from their from their countries, homes, their way of life, their own religions, that was rooted in Christianity.
If you think about most race wars, they were rooted
in Christianity. And so with that in mind, when it comes to a bunch of things in the Bible, I don't even take literal. I don't. I read the story for what it is, and I get out of the story on what I'm supposed to get out of it. Yes, do I believe some of these people existed? Yes, but one thing I do know is that this book has been passed down, translated, things have been lost, kings have stepped into power, took things out, put things in, as made evident by slavery when they want to control people. I can't remember, don't quote me, Craig, maybe you can help me, but I remember when when and maybe some people watching in the in back in England, they had to do this whole thing between separation of church and state because it was becoming confusing, and people were in fear that people were using the Bible and the fear of the Lord and the fear of going to hell and all those things to get their way in government and politics and money and stuff like that, and it had to be an eventual separation.
Yeah, I mean, and there's supposed to be a separation between church and state here too in the States, but you know that line.
Here's my thing, like like how you get Hebrew words and you try to translate them over to English and you don't really understand Hebrew.
And if you know anything about translation, you know all words don't always exactly translate over, right?
Nope.
So it's just, I don't know, for me, I'm not trying to dismantle, a relationship with God. So I don't want to say that like I'm dismantling that, like, because see, people get relationship and religion confused with each other. Religion is like the system and the organization of the situation.
Yeah,
relationship is having that personal relationship with whom you deem to be the creator, and my thing is, a lot of people, if you ask them, what is your problem? What is your big issue? What do you have deep embedded in your heart towards LBGT people? And they'll say some shit like, well, God said, no, bitch, did you
Mama,
hear
I'm so happy you brought that up. Can I make a quick point? In the Bible, there are several sins that they say is wrong. Most of them rooted in it harming somebody else. Craig and Maddie, help me out right fast. Stealing harms who? The person stolen from, right? Lying harms who? The person lied to, right? Adultery harms who? The people that's in that marriage, right? Being jealous and all that self harms yourself, right? Being gay harms who? Loving somebody else harms who? Oh, I'm finna get upset. Tell me, harms who?
And then, Madison, I just sent you a link. Somebody in the comments just asked me if I had a list of Black-owned banks in the country. Because, I've been talking about that. I've been with a Black-owned bank for 3 years. I also have...
You want me to post it down there?
Drop the link in there, please.
Yeah.
So that they'll get it on Facebook and YouTube.
I hear what you're saying. I'm doing it now. Okay. I hear exactly what you're saying, Oliver, but here's the thing. The book says about, and here's my interpretation of it. The reason why that there's huge anger and stuff about it, because the book said that be fruitful and multiply. And 2 men and 2 women cannot multiply without the opposite sex. So this is why they're saying it's a sin against God, because we're not being fruitful, we're not multiplying and and doing the things. But here's my intake on it when it says be fruitful and multiply. Being fruitful and multiplying, there are women that might be barren, or men who may be sterile, that there's a possibility that they can't be fruitful and multiply. Being fruitful and multiply means being fruitful in your wisdom and your knowledge and passing it down so that it multiplies over the earth. Being fruitful and multiply means being fruitful in your love and your affection towards your fellow man and letting it multiply across the earth. Being fruitful and multiply is teaching the youth after you so that the earth can still replenish itself with knowledge. So that's about being fruitful and multiplying. It's not always about procreation. So that's where they'll stand in on that and say, oh, well, the God hated, because somebody said, I hate what God hate. I'm like, wow, how you really? God said he hate liars.
Right. I was about to say, God said he hates a liar.
There's one thing in that book that he says that he hates.
A bitch that's lying.
If we're going according to the black and white, to the doctrine, to the scripture, he says he hates a liar. A lot of you bitches out there lying on y'all taxes. He hates you, bitch. So I hate your ass. A lot of you hoes that hate me, y'all hoes lying to the nigga that you with, telling them that's your real motherfucking hair. Bitch, I hate you because God hates you. He said he hate a liar, bitch. You lied to that nigga saying that he your baby daddy, bitch, and he not. That other nigga that you creeped out on him with in your act of fornication, bitch, you lie. God hates you, and I hate your ass too, bitch. since we gonna get down into since we gonna do what's fair. If you hate what God hates, motherfucker.
Here's my thing. Everybody just got to learn how to mind their own goddamn business and stop trying to impose their own beliefs, thoughts, and feelings on other people's lives. Case in point, when I was in high school, shout out to Roberto Fernandez down in Broward County, Florida. He taught me anthropology, and he taught me this belief. I may pronounce it wrong, but it's called ethnocentrism. Basically, when one judges another culture based off their own beliefs. Case in point, funny, I'm wearing this today. When I went to Uganda back in 2013 on 2-week mission work, my mom and I went with this church in Uganda, one of the most homophobic, deadly homophobic places in the entire world. Do you know how those men express love between like another friend of theirs? Like, just like if Craig, if you and me were straight people and we were walking down the street, the way they demonstrate love is holding hands.
I mean, even different cultures are different, especially European cultures.
I said that to say we have to mind our own business. And if someone else is doing something that we may not agree on, we do not have the power or authority to impose our own beliefs on it. The safest and the best thing to do is just to stay out of it and leave it alone and go about your own business.
Right. But yeah, culturally, I mean, like Caribbean people, European people, men oftentimes show affection or they greet each other by a kiss. You know?
Hold on. Let's get back to that. I want to touch this right here. Martha Von Brassel, you said that God destroyed a whole city for men's messing with men. I guess I'm trying to get some understanding. That is not the reason why God destroyed.
No, that's not why he destroyed it.
That is not. That's what you've been taught, and that's been embedded in you. Especially if you've been to Mount Calvary on the side of the road by way of Beulah Baptist Church, off in the hood, next to the Golden Corral, by the Caesar's all-you-can-eat crab buffet. If you was raised in that type of doctrine, they're gonna instill that into you and say that God destroyed the earth, destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of homosexuality.
Why did he destroy it, Maddie?
Let's dig into that. Let's dig into it. He destroyed.
No, I don't. I don't all the Bible fables and things.
Well, she's
let's get into one of the things. I can
remember. It was because the people had other stuff going on in the city. They was robbing, they was stealing, they was killing.
They were proud and they were selfish. They were proud, they were selfish, and they also kept out. Like they kind of like, God, I want to use this kind of like, what's that movie that with the Mockingjay? What is that? Kind of like the Hunger Games, like Capital City. Like they kept all the riches in the city, and they made everybody else fight to eat and stuff like this while they watched, and they all looked like when I watched the Mockingjay from the Hunger Games. My first time when I ever watched it, I had never read the books, but when I first watched it, when I saw the adaptation of it, the movie adaptation of it, I was like, wow, this is Sodom and Gomorrah right here. This is what Sodom and Gomorrah was, how this place was, how the capital was involved in this, and everybody else had to fend and fight on the outside for food. They were the proud city, So I was like, wow, this is the depiction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes, there were homosexual people in it, bitch, and everybody always talking about how God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Did you not forget that he sent the flood, bitch? Y'all always like to sit up here and say, well, and I'm not talking about you, Miss Martha, because I don't want to disrespect you, because I don't think that you were being disrespectful. I think that you were just saying that or asking a question. But I think that you guys forget that he sent a flood. God sent a flood. And let me explain something to you. The God of the Old Testament, we don't want a day. The God of the Old Testament, you down there where you down there, y'all got a golden calf up, and y'all got incense going, and you smoking, and it's a golden calf down there. Okay, folks, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. Anybody that fuck with me, you better get on this side with Moses. All y'all that don't think I ain't real, bitch, you can stand over there. I'm telling you, Moses, round them hoes up, because I'm finna strike a deadly one. Gone. The ground open up, swallow them, and close right back up. Who's next? You know. So, yes. Who said that? Look, who said in the comment? They said the Old Testament God was a savage. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
With nothing
that bougie and ratchet will let you know in a second. Will let you know in a second.
And me reading,
no girl ever.
Me reading in the Old Testament, it was very much so like, girl, like God did not have. It was not like, girl. Oh, didn't I tell you don't look back at that city?
Salt.
I told you, lot. Get your wife, your cousin, anybody. Get out of there. Didn't you gonna look back at it, girl? There you go. Salt. God, it was no mercy. I don't think that there was any types of mercies. Nothing. Yeah.
I believe the Israelites were supposed to get to the promised land, like, let's say something like in 2 weeks, decades, because y'all ain't want to listen.
That's all the answer. But what I did learn from speaking to some people was that like the Orishas, and the way that they merged the saints with the worship,
right? Santeria.
Because each how they have Papa Legba and Lego. So many things. I was just looking at how they add these. But it was because of they tried to hide it through Christianity. Like they tried to hide it so that they didn't know that they didn't practice it, like openly like that. And they was hiding it through Christ. So you get Saint Peter, the Saint Peter candle, the Saint Christopher, whatever it is, all that different stuff. So hold on, somebody down there. Wait a minute, Craig. We may have to get into this Friday because I ain't gonna stay on it. I ain't gonna make this a long show. We may have to get into this on Friday.
Because the pie smoothie I'm ready to eat now.
Yeah. Where did you see that? I saw somewhere where someone stated that they said Europeans feared voodoo.
But voodoo was never really bad. Voodoo is like a gun. There are people, they're good, there's bad.
Mo, you better say it.
So originally voodoo, juju, whichever way you want to call it, it was usually used to help people, but some people use it for selfish reasons.
Okay, I'm looking. Somebody had made a point. They said they're not a practitioner, but oh my God, the comments are just flying in so fast. Maybe what we need to do, Craig, maybe Friday show, we need to dedicate this stuff to religious practices and things like, because I have questions. I got a lot of questions. Miss Mary texted me and she said, boo, what I'm trying to say is Ezekiel 16:48. Let me see, where is that? Ezekiel 16:48.
Quran just said voodoo was originally used to heal people.
Everything is in about how you use it. We all say we sitting up here believing Christianity in God, but Christianity then has caused millions of people to be killed.
Yeah, I think what we'll do, we'll pick this back up on Friday. Instead of having a Freaky Friday conversation, we'll definitely pick this back up on Friday. Craig, you better get in your book. You got a day to get in your book because the girls be ready to battle you.
Girl, I'm not trying to study religion. Listen, that's why some of y'all messed up and confused now, because religion got such a hold and handle on y'all. You better shake that religion off of you and get to God.
If you just enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Or if you're already here, click that bell up there, one of them, and subscribe so that you don't miss this or any other excellent content that I have for you. Don't meet me here, beat me here. Ciao.